You're watching KSG News, where we get you all the latest updates from around the world for your exam preparations. We begin with the news related to the GS Paper 3. This is in connection with defense technology. On 14th February 2021, Prime Minister handed over the indigenously developed Arjun Main Battle Tank, or the Mk1A, to the Indian Army at a ceremony in Chennai. The Army will get 118 units of the main battle tank, indigenously designed, developed and manufactured by CVRDE and DRDO, along with 15 academic institutions, 8 labs and several MSMEs. Now, what is the Arjun Main Battle Tank? The Arjun Main Battle Tank project was initiated by DRDO in 1972 with the Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment as its lead laboratory. The object was to create a state-of-the-art tank with superior firepower, high mobility and excellent protection. During the development, the CVRDE achieved breakthroughs in the engine, transmission, hydropneumatic suspension, hull and turret, as well as the gun control system. Mass production began in 1996 at the Indian Ordnance Factory's production facility in Tamil Nadu's Avadi. What are the features of the Arjun tank? The Arjun tanks stand out for their fin-stabilized, armor-piercing, discarding sabre, ammunition, and 120mm caliber rifled gun. It also has a computer-controlled integrated fire control system with stabilized sighting that works in all lighting conditions. The secondary weapons include a coaxial 7.62mm machine gun for anti-personnel and a 12.7mm machine gun for anti-aircraft and ground targets. So how many Arjun tanks have been inducted so far? The Indian Army received the first batch of 16 tanks in 2004 and they were inducted as a squadron of the 43 Armoured Regiment. In 2009, the 1st Arjun Regiment of the Indian Army had 45 tanks. By 2011, over 100 tanks had been delivered. In 2010, the Indian Army ordered another 124 Arjuns. The Ministry of Defence ordered another 118 units of the Arjun Mk1A. Now, how is the Mk1A different? The Mk1A version has 14 major upgrades on the earlier version. It's also supposed to have missile firing capability as per the design, but this feature will be added later as final testing of the capability is still on. However, the biggest achievement with the latest version is 54.3% indigenous content against the 41% in the earlier model. Moving on to GS Paper 3, biotechnology is the topic we're covering here. Scientists have unveiled the detailed genome of the malaria mosquito vector, revealing thousands of new genes vital for the development of genetic control strategies of disease transmission. The researchers included those from Tata Institute for Genetics and Society and Institute of Bioinformatics and Applied Biotechnology, both in Bengaluru. Now, what is this all about? In order to engineer advanced forms of defense against malaria transmission, including targeted CRISPR and gene drive-based strategies, scientists require intricate knowledge of the genomes of vector mosquitoes. CRISPR technology is a gene editing tool which allows researchers to easily alter DNA sequences and modify gene function. A project scientist at the University of California in US, Mahul Chakraborty and colleagues produced a new reference genome for the Asian malaria vector mosquito, Anopheles stephensi. With the newly upgraded Anopheles stephensi genome, the team unearthed more than 3,000 genes that previously evaded scrutiny and which offer fresh gene-drive targets, play key roles in blood feeding and the metabolism of ingested blood meal, reproduction, and immunity against microbial parasites. The TIGS, or the Tata Institute for Genetics and Society, says that this reference genome and its excellent quality should help malaria biologists in India and the rest of the world, particularly in view of the national goal of malaria elimination in India by 2030. The researchers say that the discoveries include 29 formerly undetected genes that play crucial roles in resistance to chemical insecticides, a development that can help address the growing Asian and African and stephensi population with insecticide-resistant mutations. Moving on to some updates related to the GS Paper 3, Health officials in Guinea on the 14th of February confirmed that at least 3 people have died from Ebola there, the first cases declared since it was one of the 3 West African nations to fight the world's deadliest Ebola epidemic that ended 5 years ago. An additional 5 people have tested positive for Ebola in Guékédou town in the country's south. Guinea's announcement comes 1 week after Eastern Congo confirmed it also had cases. The cases are not linked. The history of Ebola virus disease. Ebola virus disease has occurred multiple times in over the last 4 decades. First discovered in 1976, the disease broke out for 2 consecutive times in different parts of Central Africa. First outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo near a river named Ebola, and therefore the virus is also named Ebola. The second outbreak took place somewhat 850 kilometers away from DRC, which is now called South Sudan. WHO has termed the 2014-2016 outbreak in West Africa as the largest Ebola outbreak ever since it was first discovered. The outbreak, which started in Guinea, later on moved to Sierra Leone and Liberia. In 2014, Kerala also faced a threat of Ebola virus transmission as many people coming from infected areas in the African subcontinent visited India. Moving on to the news related to GS Paper 2, this is in connection with international relations. Myanmar's new military-led State Administration Council, led by Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services, General Min Aung Hlaing, issued an order amending the Protection of the Citizens for the Personal Freedom and Personal Security Law. According to the order issued on 13th of February, Sections 5, 7 and 8 of the law will be suspended during the state of emergency declared on the 1st of February. Now, what is this all about? The suspended Section 5 says that the relevant ministry and responsible authorities shall ensure that there is no damage to the privacy and security of the citizen except where this occurs in accordance with existing law, and when acting in accordance with the existing law, the authorities shall not enter into a person's residence or private places for the purpose of search, seizure or arrest, unless accompanied by a minimum of 2 witnesses from local administration organizations. The suspended Section 7 of the law says that no one shall be detained for more than 24 hours without permission from a court unless the detention is in accordance with existing law. The Section 8 limited entering into a citizen's private residence or room for the purpose of search, seizure or arrest, surveilling, spying upon or investigating any citizen which could disturb their privacy and security or affect their dignity, intercepting or disturbing any citizen's communication with another person or communications equipment in any way, demanding or obtaining personal, telephonic and electronic communications data from telecom operators without order, permission or warrant in accordance with existing law or responsible authority. It also prohibited opening, searching, seizing or destroying another person's private correspondence, envelope, package or parcel, unlawfully interfering with a citizen's personal or family matters, or acting in any way to slander or harm their reputation, and unlawfully seizing the lawfully owned movable or immovable property of a citizen, or intentionally destroying either directly or by indirect means. The 1-year state of emergency was declared in Myanmar after former President U Win Myint and State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi were detained along with other officials from National League for Democracy by the military on the 1st of February, after which a coup was staged. That's it in this video. Do stay tuned to KSG News for all the latest updates to help with your exam preparations.